So I received a comment on my YouTube channel a few days ago from MC, and he asked how to make Keqing'S burst deal at least 2k damage. I tried so hard, but I have bad artifacts luck. Well, let's do this. I'm gonna make a Keqing guide for him, and maybe, hopefully, this can help other people too. So yeah, let's do this. Now, the first thing we have to do is make sure your talents are upgraded. Why am I saying such an obvious thing? Because trust me, I've seen many people forget to, upgrade their talents, and then they complain that they don't deal any damage. So, yeah, that happens. That actually happens. So, just go check up your talents and see if they're upgraded. Keqing, specifically, she needs these scalings a lot, okay? Even more than most characters. Like, she really needs these scalings to deal even a decent amount of damage, okay? So, yeah. First thing you gotta do is this. Check up your talents. Now, what should you upgrade on Keqing? The most important things to upgrade on her kit would be, in my opinion, her charge attack and her burst. The problem is, should you crown her? And my answer to that is probably not. Unless you are a fucking simp like me and you want to crown our queen. So, yeah, I did that, but if it's something mandatory, say, for example, like Bennett, there's Bennett. In Bennett's case, it's almost like obligatory that you have to max out his burst. In Keqing'S case, it's not that mandatory. Like, she's not that OP that you should put a crown on her, okay? If we're talking on the meta standpoint. But I'm a fucking simp, so I did it anyway. If you want a bit of an insight here, this is how much you actually need to upgrade one single talent to level 10. You need a bunch of fucking books, a bunch of materials, a bunch of boss materials, and the crown, and 700k Mora. That's a lot. That's a real fucking lot. If you crown 3 talents, that's 2,100,000 Mora just gone. Just like that. So, yeah. I would be careful with crowning any character, okay? Just only crown the ones you're really sure you want to crown, okay? But anyway, now that we have her talents covered up, it's time for weapons. Okay, before we start covering this, I want to tell you guys 2 things. First of all, I'm not gonna go over every single 5-star and 4-star weapon. Mainly because the objective here is to help you guys know exactly what you should be aiming to use with your Keqing. That means I will not be going over weaker weapons. Of course, if you don't have any of these weapons that I'm gonna talk about, then just use whatever you have, okay? But at least you will know what you should be aiming for. Okay? Okay. Secondly, the way I'm gonna go over this is the following. I will talk about every single weapon that I think works well on Keqing. And at the end of the section, I'm going to rank them all up again, so you can see what your priority should probably be. Okay? So yeah, let's do this. So to kick things off, I'm gonna start with Keqing'S best in slot weapon, and that would be Mist-Splitter Reforged, also known as the weapon that gave me the most pain on any game ever. Yeah, that was fun. Anyway, why is the Mist-Splitter so fucking OP? And why did I waste so many wishes on it? First of all, it has a really high base attack. It has some really solid crit damage substats, and but it is mainly because of this thing right here, this passive right here. So what does it do? If you use it correctly, it can give you an up to plus 40% elemental damage bonus. And that works for any character. So that is extremely broken. Like, I believe this weapon is the most broken sword, like the most universally broken sword out of any 5-star weapon, along with Jade Cutter, which I'm gonna talk about in a second. But yeah, you can use this weapon on literally any character that focuses on dealing elemental damage, and it will make them extremely OP. So yeah, just use it. Oh, and also it has this really cool purple glowing katana design, which just works well with Keqing. Okay, it just fits. It feels right with Keqing. So yeah, it's literally her best weapon ever. I don't believe they will ever release a better weapon for Keqing. But yeah, next up we have the Jade Cutter. And the Jade Cutter is extremely broken as well, but for other reasons. So you're seeing right now the Jade Cutter on your screen, and you're probably noticing something really odd. Have you seen its crit rate? That thing is fucking massive. It gives you more than 40% crit rate. That is extremely broken. Like, if you have the Jade Cutter, it just makes building a character that much easier. And to give you some... to prove my point, like, if I had the Jade Cutter on my current Keqing build, I would have about 90% crit rate. And with this passive talent, where if I use Keqing'S burst, I will get a bonus 15% crit rate, I would surpass 100% crit rate. So yeah, the Jade Cutter just is also a universally good weapon, because it just gives you all that crit rate, and it's insane. It's just insane. There's really nothing much else to say. And now we run out of good 5-star options. There's a Summit Shaper. The Summit Shaper is also decent. It's quite decent. It's just not as good as the Mist Splitter or the Jade Cutter. But if you have a Summit Shaper and want to use it on Keqing, then by all means do it. The Summit Shaper is really cool as well. But yeah, if you see a Summit Shaper rerun sometime, and you're thinking about pulling for it, then I wouldn't recommend doing it. I would recommend waiting for a Jade Cutter or a Mist Splitter rerun again, because they're just universally better than the Summit Shaper. But yeah. Anyways, that's it for the 5-star weapons. Now let's go over the 4-star weapons. So to kick things off with the 4 stars, we have the Black Sword, which I also believe is Keqing'S best in slot 4-star weapon. Why is it same thing as the Jade Cutter? It gives you plenty of crit rate. Of course, it's not nearly as much as the Jade Cutter, but it still gives you quite a decent amount of crit rate, and of course that makes it easier for you to build your Keqing. Now, of course, I know you need the Battle Pass to get this weapon, so if you can't afford your Battle Pass, then unfortunately you can't get this weapon. So yeah, that's how it works. But I think the fact that I went as far as R5ing it shows just how much I love this weapon. Because aside from the crit rate, it also increases your normal and charged attack damage, and that's really nice to have because Keqing uses that a lot. And the heal is actually much more useful than I thought it would be. There are a lot of situations where I was about to die as Keqing, and this healing, even though it's not a big ass healing, it saved my ass a lot of times. So This weapon is really fucking cool. It's really fucking cool. So yeah, this is her best in slot weapon for a 4-star. But if you can't afford it, you have two other options, which I consider to be almost equal, which would be the Lion's Roar and Amenoma Kaguchi. The Amenoma has a lower base attack as a Lion's Roar, but it has a higher attack percent substat than the Lion's Roar. So I believe they're quite balanced in that regard. Now, what's the difference between both of them? So, I believe with the Lion's Roar you will deal more damage, probably, because you have this effect, right? Where it increases damage against opponents affected by Pyro or Electro by a certain amount. In my case, it's a 28% by an R3 refinement. And you're pretty much almost always gonna have someone affected by Electro, right? So you're almost always gonna have the damage bonus. So yeah, it's a really cool weapon to have. It's pretty solid. Of course, it's because you don't have the crit rate, it won't be as easy to build. But it's still cool. I would still recommend any of these two. These two are really freaking cool. And then the Amenoma Kaguchi, it's cool because due to its passive, it will actually make it so you always have your burst up. I'm not even kidding. It will let you have your burst up almost all the time. So yeah, any of these two options is extremely viable for Keqing. And then to close things off, I'm not going to talk about any other weapons aside from this last one that I'm going to show. Black Cliff. Now the Black Cliff is not that great of an option as the other ones, but it's still pretty cool because first of all, crit damage substat, which is really cool. And this passive, which if you're fighting a horde of enemies and you start killing them all with Keqing, it will gradually increase your attack. And it's actually pretty big attack increase, so it will be good, though it is a bit difficult to get because you have to have a lot of Stardust, I believe, to even get this weapon. So yeah. Anyways, this was it for the weapons. Any other weapons I won't discuss because they aren't nearly as powerful as the ones I just discussed. Okay, so yeah, that was it. Now for the final ranking, I would say Mist Splitter, then Jade Cutter, then huge gap, like a huge gap, Summit Shaper. Then you have, for the 4 stars, you have the Black Sword. Then you have the Amenoma Kaguchi and the Lion's Roar. And lastly, you have the Black Cliff. Those would be the ones I would recommend the most. If you know of any other weapons I might have missed, you're free to comment below, but these are the ones I believe are the best for her in the whole game. Now, honorable mention here, if you don't have any 4-star or 5-star weapon, then you're free to use the Harbinger of Dawn. It's also a solid weapon. It will give you a decent enough crit damage substat, and depending on how much you refine it, in my case it's a R5, you can get a lot of crit rate if you manage to be above this threshold of HP. But yeah, that's it. Now let's go over to the artifacts. So when it comes to building your Keqing, there are many ways that you can go about it, but there are two main ways that I would consider the most optimal ways of building Keqing. So yeah, I'm gonna show you both of them. So the first one I'm gonna show you guys is my current build, which is a 2-piece Thundering Fury set. That will give you some electro damage bonus. It's pretty self-explanatory. I don't need to go too deep on that. But the other one is a 2-piece set out of any artifact set that gives you attack percent. Now, we have currently 4 artifact sets that do this. So we have the Gladiator Finale set, we have the Shimenawa's Reminiscence set, we have the Echoes of an Offering set, and we have the Vermilion Hereafter set. Now, I'm gonna go over every single one of these sets separately, okay? So, the Gladiator Finale set. The thing with this set is, if you have 2 good pieces from this set already, then by all means use them. But if you don't farm them, okay? Don't try to farm Gladiator Finale, because you only get these from boss drops, and no one really wants to waste 40 resin just for a chance to get a Gladiator Finale piece, okay? So yeah, if you don't have this set, don't use it. Don't farm it. Next one is Shimenawa's Reminiscence, which is a bit better to farm in that regard, but there's also a problem. If you're only looking for this set, there is a slight chance that you get unlucky and get Emblem of Severed Fate as well. Now, this set is really fucking good for some other characters, but if you're not looking for it, then yeah, and you get unlucky, you will suffer a bit. Now, the other 2 ones, Echoes of an Offering and Vermilion Hereafter, they're both special because they are both on the same freaking domain. Now, I haven't unlocked it yet, I will, but I mean, I have pieces from these artifacts due to the Abyss. If you clear the Abyss, you also get some pieces from these artifact sets. Anyway, this domain will give you both of these artifact sets, so if you're looking specifically for attack percent pieces, then by all means farm this, okay? Don't try to farm Gladiators, don't try to farm Shimenawas, just focus on these, okay? Now, that was it for my current build. Now, the second one I'm going to show you is Keqing'S most easiest build, okay? This one will be extremely easy to farm. And what you want is a 2-piece set that gives you attack percent, along with another 2-piece set that also gives you attack percent. Why would you do this? Because, as I said before, in the talents section, Keqing really needs those scalings, right? And if you increase her attack even further, that will make her deal a lot of freaking damage, okay? Is it better than the other one I showed you with the Thundering Fury? Not really. I mean, it's not better, but I don't feel like it's worse either, okay? I believe they're both at the same level. So if you don't have the patience to farm the Thundering Fury set, then the thing you can do is just get your ass to this freaking domain and spam the shit out of it. Like, just farm this domain constantly until you get 2 good pieces for each artifact set. Like, it's literally Keqing'S easiest build and one of the 2 most optimal builds for her. So yeah, that's it. That's it for the artifacts. Now we're gonna go over the stats you need. So we're back to my normal build, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk to you guys about the substats. Like, what should you get to your substats? You should get exactly this. Like, you should get crit damage, attack percent, and crit rate. I'm not gonna touch on energy recharge because you have a low cost burst, like only 40 energy. Like, you will have your burst pretty much all the time, okay? So you don't really need a lot of energy recharge. So focus mainly on these ones. Try getting these, okay? And don't underestimate attack percent at all, okay? Keqing, as an electro character, she really needs to have her attack high. So when she crits and has all these elemental damage bonuses, she will need those to... she'll need a lot of attack, and then those bonuses will bring her damage really freaking high, okay? So you really don't want to underestimate the attack percent substat, okay? For example, here on my circlet, I have a lot of freaking attack, right? So, and that's really good. That makes me have almost 2300 attack, right? So, yeah. Anyway, going to the main stats, we have attack percent on the sands. Like you don't want anything else. Just pick attack percent on the freaking sands, and you're good to go. Okay. Of course, you want the right substats, but you don't want anything else. You don't want, I don't know, elemental mastery. You don't want energy recharge. I don't know. You don't want defense. You don't want anything else. Just pick attack. Okay. So now for the goblet, you want, of course, an electro damage bonus. It is the most recommended thing, though it's not mandatory. Okay. It is the best option. Electro damage bonus is the best option, but you don't want that. You don't, like, it's not obligatory. You don't 100% need that, or your build will be trash. No. It's not like that. But I'm only gonna touch on that subject later. For now, the circlet. So this is where you have to think a bit, okay? Because you have to look at your build without the circlet and think, do I have enough crit rate? If you have enough crit rate, like, I don't know, 50%, 60%, definitely look for a crit damage circlet. If you don't have enough crit rates, like if you have around 20% or 30%, then pick up a crit rate circlet, and yeah, you're good to go. And yeah, that's it. That was it for the main stats. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna talk about is one of the things that MZ said on his comment, and that was that he has bad luck on his artifacts. Now, I want to talk about that. Now, of course, it's not everyone who is lucky to get a crit damage circlet along with crit rate and attack percent. Same thing with an electro damage goblet, but this is one thing that a lot of people do. This is a mistake that a lot of people do, which is they disregard anything that is not an electro damage bonus or a crit damage or crit rate circlet. That they will just dismiss anything that isn't one of those things, and that is wrong. That is just wrong. I would recommend trying to look for an attack percent goblet or an attack percent circlet, because I already explained this a lot of times. Getting an attack percent thing will getting attack percent stuff will increase your raw damage, which in turn will increase your overall damage when you add in like the crit damage bonuses and stuff like that. Maybe buffs from other characters, who knows. But the main thing here is that you can run, there's a high chance that you have an attack percent goblet or an attack percent circlet from the set that you're farming, and that is actually pretty decent. For example, I don't know, this attack percent circlet is, it's not perfect, but it's pretty decent, isn't it? So I believe that if you use the right sets that I recommended and you use an attack percent circlet and an attack percent goblet, that you should deal at least close to 2000 damage with your ult. So with your burst, I mean. So yeah, of course, getting an electro damage bonus and a crit rate or a crit damage circlet, of course it's gonna be better. But it's a good replacement, okay? Until you get these things, an attack percent circlet and an attack percent goblet are good temporary replacements. So do that right now. Go over to your artifacts and look for attack percent goblets or attack percent circlets. There's a high chance you might have a decent one, okay? So yeah, to further prove my point, I'm gonna put exactly these ones on my Keqing. Where is it? Where's the one? Oh, here. Then I'm gonna, I don't know, I'm gonna tune down the crit damage a bit. I'm gonna put this one. And then I'm gonna take off the mist splitter and I'm gonna put the level 60 Lion's Roar. So it's not even gonna be a fully upgraded weapon. So yeah. Let's do this. I'm gonna test my solo damage on Mago Kenki. Okay, here we go. See, we're already close to 2000 damage, right? We're already this close to 2000 damage. Of course, it's 1500, but it's still pretty decent, right? So now I'm gonna touch on the other subject, and that will be Teamcomps. So one of the most important things that you can do to increase your Keqing'S damage output is to use other characters, right? Every DPS needs other characters to boost their damage. In Keqing'S case, the ones that can do that are the following. We're gonna go by order here. So we have the Raiden Shogun. If you have the Raiden Shogun's elemental skill active, it will boost up Keqing'S elemental burst damage, okay? It's right here, elemental burst damage bonus, this amount per energy. So yeah, it will increase your burst damage by a bit, okay? In Keqing'S case, it's about like in the state that my Raiden's in, it would increase her damage by around 11%, which is quite cool, Then we have Mona. Of course, Mona can, if you have Mona, level her up and level her burst talent up. Now this will 100% give you a massive increase to your damage. Let's see, at level 8, it will give you a 56 damage bonus, a 66% damage bonus. That is massive, and it will increase with the level. Like, if you have this crowned, it can go up to 60%, if I'm not mistaken. Like, this shit is brutal. This shit is really fucking OP. So yeah, if you have Mona, definitely use her. Zhongli can increase your damage as well. How does he do that? His shield. If you have his shield active, where is it? Here. Characters protected by the Jade Shield will decrease the elemental resistance and physical resistance of opponents in a small AoE by 20%. This effect cannot be stacked. Okay, so it will shred everyone's resistance by a lot, so it will automatically increase your damage output. So using Zhongli is a good option too. Bennett. Bennett is the most broken character in the whole game. If you have him properly built, if you want, I can do a guide on Bennett, like a very quick guide on Bennett, on how you can build him properly. But if you have a properly built Bennett, and you have his burst all upgraded, crowned, and all that good stuff, he will 100% increase your Keqing'S damage by a real lot, like a lot. I mean that a lot. And by the way, never C6 him. If you want to use Bennett with some characters like Keqing, Ayaka, I don't know, Eula, or some characters that rely on their normal attacks and charge attacks, then never C6 your Bennett, okay? This is the biggest tip I can give you to Bennett. Never C6 him, okay? Okay. But yeah, if you have Bennett, crown his burst. It's mandatory. Remember in the talents where I said that Keqing'S talents weren't obligatory to max, to crown, I would say Bennett's burst is one of the only talents in the game where I would say, yeah, crown it, 100%. You need that. Okay, so, next up, I don't believe... Oh, any animal character with this set... Wait, where is it? Here. You have this here. This 4-piece set. If you have an animal character with this 4-piece set, it will actually shred, like when you do a swirl reaction, it will shred every the electro resistance of all enemies hit by that swirl. So it's really good to use with sucrose, and especially with this guy right here. If you have him, if you have Kazuha, definitely use him with Keqing. He will 100% increase her damage by a lot. He's like a core team member for her comp, okay? Kazuha is extremely amazing for Keqing. So yeah, if you have him, use him with Keqing. Also, maybe Kujusara can upgrade her damage by using her elemental skill. She also gives an attack bonus ratio. So yeah, that was it for the characters. And to further prove my point on how Bennett is absolutely fucking broken, I'm gonna repeat the test, but using only Bennett's burst, and you'll see just how much of a fucking monster he is. And here we go. See? We already dealt above 2000 damage just by using Bennett with that shitty build. You saw? Did you see that? That's just proof of how broken Bennett is, okay? So, just by using Bennett with this build, you can already do so much. And remember, this is a Lion's Roar, a level 60 Lion's Roar, with this thing, this set, okay? This isn't a proper build. Like, if you do any of the builds I showed you, and even with those builds use an attack percent thing, you will be a lot better than I was here. With a fully upgraded weapon and a properly built Keqing, your Keqing will be pretty fucking strong, okay? So yeah, I believe that was it for the guide. I mean, there's really nothing else to say. So just follow these steps, follow my advice, do what I told you, and I am sure your Keqing will deal a shitload of more damage, okay? If you have any of these weapons, level them up. Try to have your weapons fully upgraded, level up your talents, take care of your artifacts, and use the right team comps, okay? Use the right team comps to boost your Keqing's damage, and you should be good. And I'm pretty sure you'll deal a lot more than just 2k damage, okay? You will deal, I don't know, I believe you can deal at least up to 4k damage for each slash, okay? Okay? That's it. That was it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you want more videos like these, then I don't know, leave a comment down below and ask me things that you would like to know, like my opinion on something, if you want another guide on any other character, or any tips on something specific. Feel free to ask me. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I could help you. So yeah, see ya!